Good afternoon and welcome to the Betting Tribune brought to you by Line Sniper. I am one of your hosts, James Mazzola. I'm here with my tag team partner, Andy Mulder. Andy, how we doing this afternoon?
Just glad that we're done in Boston. I had a rough weekend.
It was not good. What was rough about it, man?
Oh, just a few matchups went hairy right away, and it's tough to have money on Harris English. Have a guy shoot, 20. What the end? I didn't even look. I couldn't even tell you his final score. He finished ahead of Spieth. That's all that mattered for the other bets. But to have an outright on a guy at like 80 to 1, have him shoot 20 to 1 or better, and have almost 0% chance, like no chance whatsoever to win the tournament in the long run. There, so we got into the pretty anticlimactic Sunday round.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, DJ just ran away with it, and he'll do that. I mean, that's not the first time we've seen Dustin Johnson go absolutely nuclear, man. I mean, 30 under. I stopped watching because it was pretty much, the tea leaves were being read real early in that sucker, so I didn't even watch the end. You kind of knew it was going to happen. I had Berger, and he played well, and he had absolutely no chance either. So that was fun. I actually had a pretty
Yeah,
good
I had a
week.
piece
I
of
hit,
him.
yeah, I hit some top 20s, three top 20s. The head to heads went really well. The three balls went well. Did a little first round leader action, although it was a 4-way split with English, so that kind of sucks. But I didn't mind the tournament so much. It was just boring. I hate Birdie Fest, man. What are your thoughts on that? What kind of golf do you like to watch?
Yeah, it depends. It's such a weird dichotomy. Like, there's golf I like to watch, and then there's golf tournaments where I'm good at betting them.
Yeah,
Some of those really tough tournaments where the course is playing extremely hard. I think it's really hard to get a grasp on those sometimes, but other times, like the Memorial, that's a good example of
yeah.
that. Like, I thought we as a group, you might yourself, me, some other people, we talk about golf as they let the course get tougher over the weekend. The weather made it tougher, and then they also moved some tee boxes and things around for that Sunday. I thought we had a pretty good grasp of what was going to happen. So it's not always a tough course makes it difficult to bet. And to
Yeah.
be truthful, like I will agree with you, I enjoy watching that. Watching him struggle, like I don't know if it's kind of masochistic. That's like because that's how I golf, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's sadistic, maybe be a better word, but yeah, it's fun to watch him struggle because that's how I golf, and at the same time, it does suck to just see like guys birdie every single hole. Sometimes it was a lot of fun watching Scotty get his low round and DJ, kind of mail in the back half and still shoot 60, but at the same time, I cheer for the course.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I feel like when I prefer a little bit more pressure in situations that need the call for it, right? So if you have X number of birdie holes, you have to perform on those holes and you have to grind for pars on the other holes. And we kind of know that going in. That's the kind of golf I like. Not when you just make a birdie anywhere. I prefer that. But we're gonna have a course this week that I'm afraid is probably gonna set up really similar, and that's mostly to do with the fact that these guys are just so fucking good at what they do. Like we were talking a little off camera, par 70, 7,300 yards, a little over, right? So you have par fives that are 600 yards this week at Olympia Fields in Chicago, just outside of Chicago. And you're looking at, I mean, we're on paper, you're thinking, okay, maybe this is going to be a little bit tough, but when these guys are hitting nine irons, 190, 180 yards, they're going to be able to get it close on the long par fours, and they're going to have guys who can hit these 600-yard par five. So, I mean, what are we looking at this week, and what kind of what are you anticipating seeing on a golf course that we haven't seen played on the PGA Tour since '03?
Yeah, that's the tough part about this one too. While last week we had a course that we've seen more in the past, this one hasn't been used a ton. I
Yeah,
mean, there have been tournaments here, but at the same time, it's not like tournament. The 2015 U.S. Amateur, the 27. Maybe this next call will speak to how easy the course might play. The 2017 Women's PGA was played here.
yeah,
So I mean, they've used this for a women's championship. They played a U.S. Open here like 20 years ago, but you're not going to glean much from how people have played here. Like I've made jokes with some other people that really love Harris English and back him every week, like I do. And again, Harris English, Daniel Berger, kind of guys always going to pop high in my model. Their numbers are always where I'd like to bet them. I had some Berger this week as well, but Harris English won here.
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it was the
We
2009 Illini Invitational when he was a college player in Georgia. So
that's
I don't
awesome
know. There's history. There are some people that look at that sort of thing, like who
for sure.
if it's their home course, if they're from the area. Obviously, he's not from just Chicagoland area. He's from Georgia, but in his college days, he did win a tournament here. So
That's
man, that's just I was going to bet him anyway.
yeah, I gotcha. And yeah,
That's my nudge.
take it where you want with that. These guys are a lot. They've changed the course. I think they renovated in 2017. I'm expecting it to get into the high teens, 20. Don't you think? Yeah,
For sure.
I think we could probably agree on that. Okay, so let's just break. Let's go top to bottom here. Let's get because I actually have more bets. I found more value this week, surprisingly, with 70 golfers. The odds should be shrinking considering you have half of the field, but you're seeing some. I found a lot more bets than I did last week, where I struggled to land on any guys. So let's start at the top of the market. Where we have now that DJ is back to being DJ. It's basically a five-headed monster here at the top with DJ, Rom, JT, Bryson, and Rory. Rory has dipped back almost to the bottom half of that, considering his performances since the suspension. I was a full fade of Rory last week. I'll be looking to do so again, although we have a couple different matchups we'll get to later. Any of those guys, DJ, Rom, JT, Bryson, Rory, any of those guys tickling your fancy this week?
You're going to parlay DJ with Phil Mickelson. Get a decent number on both.
Oh, is he doing this? Is he in his first senior tour start?
Yeah, he's like plus 220 to win it.
Holy shit! Now I'm gonna have to watch that.
I think I might actually watch some of that. Yeah, but I think Stricker's second favorite at like 8-1. But no, joking aside, it's gonna be tough sledding to bet DJ at 8-1. Even though
no way,
yeah, I can't bet it. If he wins it, he wins it. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes out there, shoots another 22 under, and takes this one. Maybe Christ, he could win all three. He's playing so well right now. We just said this course is going to be so easy. But I mean, out of those top five, maybe JT. If I could find a 15, I'm not seeing a ton of prices out yet. I'm looking at Bookmaker right now. I'm not sure if you have anything up at locals or otherwise. I know probably Bet Online has some stuff up. I can pull that up as well.
Here, but my locals are terrible. But usually the best stuff you're going to get is there. The thing with JT, I don't mind JT this week. He's been putting really poorly. He's lost strokes in his last 3 starts, 4 last week, 3.5 at the PGA, 2 at the St. Jude when he won, which goes to show you how good he is at striking the ball. Losing strokes putting and winning is just like it's the stupidest thing in the world. If you could turn the putting around,
that's maybe the reason why I want to. Yeah, that's maybe the reason why I want to bet him.
Yeah. And I'm saying the same thing. He's not, he's not an exceptional putter, but he's not a bad putter. I mean, prior to that, he's got he's more of a streaky putter. When he gets it going, he's going to make everything. When he's not feeling good with the flat stick, he's going to suck. So you have that ceiling you're going to get, or excuse me, the floor you're going to get. You get a 12 at Bet Online. So, I mean, that's really, 15 would be fun to see. I would probably be on him there too. Of those guys, I like him the best. You do have Bryson, who won the US Am here. What are your thoughts on the beefy Bryson?
We talked about the length of the course, so it's probably a decent fit for him.
Yeah.
These are some really tough, long par fives. I think only I don't know if the breakdown we're getting from the one site we normally use is actually accurate on some of the lengths of these. Because I'm hearing both par fives are restructured to be over 600. So there's no chance. Yeah, there's no chance it's the easiest 2 holes on the course if they have been lengthened to that amount. So if they're both over 600, we've got a couple of par 4s that are tickling 500, a couple 450s. I mean, there's some really tough long holes here. So a guy who can really knock it off the tee, decent off the tee, decent isn't a word I should use. Great ball striker, great off the tee, long hitter, big hitter of the llama. This is going to help a ton when his proximity is like 150 on some of these holes and other people are hitting 175 to 200. I mean, your approach doesn't have to be nearly as good if you can put it down the fairway 375 on some of these. So
yeah, I agree.
It's tough to look at some of those top names and make a case, because as you're looking at it, you're looking at all the other top names. Like, yeah, but this guy's here and this guy here. But it's why these are so difficult. And I mean, just look at people who missed the cut last week, Bryson being one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And he did so behind losing 4 strokes putting, which is just wild for him. He's one of the best putters on tour.
Yeah.
So didn't gain on approach either. So, I mean, his game's it's not as sharp as it was, right after the suspension to me. So I'm gonna wait and see on him. You're not gonna probably get a better number because if he comes out and goes crazy, he can do what DJ did last week, no problem. Then we have Rory, and so this week Rory's interesting. He's priced closer to the next tier of guys. Where we're looking at Webb Simpson at 20, Xander at 18, my son Colin Morikawa at 22, Daniel Berger at 22, which are guys that I think are getting a lot of play here. You're looking at a 70-man field again. So you can go into these 20s more often than I normally would, right? So of that group, I mean, do you think Rory is closer to the guys I just mentioned in Webb, Xander, Colin, and Berger, or is he stepped that far back? What are your thoughts on him? And any of those other guys, where are you on those other guys as well?
Yeah, I love Berger. I've said that 20-1 might be a hard pill to swallow. But again, you got to do a little bit of a brain reset on these tournaments, especially this week and next week. You realize you're getting a 20-1 where maybe normal weeks he'd be 25-30, but also there's only 70 golfers in the field.
Yeah,
like this isn't you're not battling through big chunks, big swaths of golfers as you have to pass up 5, 6, 7 guys just to get up to the top 10, and then the leaderboard should be a little more spread out towards the top, even if it is a tough or an easy course. Maybe that's even more of a case for it to be a little more spread out. So I think I just have to take a step back when I'm looking at these prices sometimes. It's like, man, that's a hard adjustment on Berger, which his adjustment is warranted. He's played very well, but at the same time in a smaller field. So I got to look a little more at Danny B. If I can get it 22, 25, definitely probably an ad for me again. But I'm looking at 20 here on Bet Online. I'm guessing he's 22 at Bookmaker. If I can find 22 to 25, he's likely going to hit the card. He goes high in my model every week. He's a guy I'm always going to love. It looks like he's third. The only thing I'm seeing I can't find something he does bad. He's just consistently consistently near the top and not winning.
Yeah, I mean, and he did snag a win this year at the Schwab. He has 2 wins prior to his injury, right? I mean, he's been in the winner's circle. Dude knows how to win, and he's priced at a spot where when I'm looking at like a Xander, I'd rather have Berger right now, to be honest with you. I mean, Xander hasn't really shown anything, to be super elite since. Shit, it's been a little bit it's been a while, and you're getting Xander at 18 or Berger at 22. For me, that's a no-brainer. I mean, Berger's just playing too well. You got Colin Morikawa coming off of a miscut, second in his career, and he's at 22 as well. I don't mind that either. And then I'm not going to be on Webb. It's just Webb at a long golf course doesn't work for me. So I mean, those guys are just. I mean, to me, of that little group, I'm all about Berger. Do you have any thoughts on those other guys?
Yeah, Xander, good driver, a lot of distance. He finds the fairway with, he's not long and wild. He's usually pretty long and straight. That's the nicest thing I can say about him at this price. Like I'm not super excited about backing the guy based on a few other things in his game, but he hits the shit out of the ball. He might be a guy that, ends up in the mix. You can look at adding later, but based on where his price is now, if he has a good Friday or Thursday, I'm certainly not looking at re-upping at a worse price. 18 to 20 is, I think, overpriced for him. I'd rather take Morikawa, Berger, or even a little lower Jason Day than Xander right now.
I'm with you on that. And
I feel bad saying that Berger's always up there and never wins. Yeah, I actually had a piece of him when he won. I feel bad shitting on him there, but even the last few weeks, he's always right there. He's just never been, super in. Obviously, nobody was in contention last week after certain rounds.
It was a one-horse race. So I mean, we were seeing Day at 22 last week in a harder field to win in because you have more golfers. Now he's sitting at 28. My guess is we could probably get 30 somewhere, can't we, if we look hard enough, I would imagine. To me, that, again, this is like a classic spot. You get a guy who is loved by the market, loved by everyone. He was like the number 1 DFS play. Everyone, this is his spot, his win. He misses the cut behind pretty much is not playing well. I mean, he didn't do anything special. Lost 6.5 strokes on approach, which, I mean, nobody can make a cut if you lose 6.5 strokes on approach. Had gained 8 the week before the PGA. So if I'm going to be on day, it would be in this kind of situation where we can get him in the 30s coming off a bad round. Cantlay is next. I mean, the guy is just not playing, and he's not doing anything. He's all the way up to 33. I prefer. I'm going to have a little bit of Scotty Scheffler in that range. From what he's done, we talk about the big 3 rookies. Scheffler is right there with those guys, and he was on the. He was the Korn Ferry Player of the Year last year. You're looking at 4th at the PGA, a 4th at the Northern Trust, or 4th last week. I mean, ball striking machine. Actually, not a terrible putter. I thought that was kind of his weakness. He gained 5 at the PGA and a full stroke at the Northern Trust. This will be one of my first bets on Scheffler in a long time. 33 is not I don't love that number, but you're looking at the guys around him. I don't see a Decky and I don't see a Finau winning. Cantlay hasn't played well, and then obviously Day, who I do like. So anything there from Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, I like him a lot too. He came up high last week. It sucked. I played him in a daily matchup on Friday.
Okay.
And I had to sit and again I had to or Thursday rather, and I had to sit and like calm myself down because it was Friday was his 50 his good round there. So he lost. Yeah, he lost a matchup on Thursday. He lost a matchup on Thursday, and then the next day goes out and shoots 50. I don't even want to look. Like it was just he had an okay round, and that's one of those things where you can get mad about it, and a lot of good that'll do you. But I guess in my mind, I just try to spin it like, oh, you know what? I liked Scheffler this week, and he went out and shot a 59. So that's good. That means I'm doing something right, even though I lost on him yesterday. It was Scheffler Fleetwood. Fleetwood had a great tournament. I didn't expect it. I bet on him. I bet against him numerous times. None of them obviously came to fruition. I had Tiger over him. But bet on Scotty Thursday. He goes up the next day and goes 12 under. So them's the breaks. I like him. I like him again this week. I don't mind that price. I am going to tell you the Day can be had at 33 at certain books.
Ooh, I'm talking. Well, they won't let me bet there, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. Well, you just need to get a Canadian Bodog account.
talk to our boy Bo. It's interesting you mentioned
Scheffler and Day in that range. I like quite a bit.
You're into that. Okay. Yeah, I like that. And I mean, I think it's interesting you mentioned, round by round bets. People got to realize, man, the variance in those things is really, really high. And one round of golf, a lot of shit can happen. Let's just be real here. So if you trust your process, you're going to go through some huge swings and some huge upticks and some huge down. I mean, I think it was a PGA. I went 4-0 one day on 3 balls, and then I went 0-5 on head-to-heads on Sunday or some shit. Like, that's just what happens. So, if you're not into the high variance of it, and you're not willing to, and you're not good at staking, and you're not good at bankroll management, head-to-heads, round by round are just not for you. I mean, betting is not for you in general, right? But definitely not, round by round head-to-head bets on golf, because there is a market that will go. It'll drive you nuts if you really take a lot of stock in it. That's just my opinion. I would assume you feel the same way.
Yeah, take 2 weeks off and quit. That'd be my advice.
There you go.
I had some rough daily bets over the weekend. Them's the breaks, I guess. I've talked to several people about this. I stake my full tournament bets. I stake those higher than my round by rounds because there's going to be a little more. There's more holes to suss out. Let the variance regress to the mean a little. Let my numbers, let it marinate a little. Just the smaller the sample size, the more variance you're going to have. So I do stake. And I thought I was making a mistake at one point because the head-to-heads were like hot a couple weeks. And then that gets in your head. And I said, Andy, are you making a mistake by not betting those? Just wait. They'll come back to earth. And yeah, for sure my full tournament plays do better than my daily stuff. It's easier to see it. It's easier to see an edge work its way out over 72 holes or, God willing, 36.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing, right? Like
when they take care of it with the cut.
I have no idea. I don't know how to value that, but it's definitely something, right? Like I don't, so that's my thing. I don't know how to value it, but it's there. It's something is definitely there. It's it's wonderful when you wake up on Friday morning and you wake up on Saturday morning and you see a nice little pad to the account. It's always a fun thing for sure. But I'm the same way. My head to head bets are 3 to 4 times what my normal like any other wager, because for me you could just you could play that out over the course of the year, and if you do have an edge, you're going to see that, right? Whereas round by round, you're going to have some highs and some lows. And I've had the highs and lows. I'm not doing well in head to heads, but I'm absolutely killing 3 balls. Why would that? It's the same thing. It's the same process going into both. Why is one killing the other? I don't know, but to me, it's just variance. And if you want to bet those markets, you have to stay correctly, and just stick to your process. That's all. That's all it is. All right, we got Tony at 33, Decky at 37, Reed at 36. I think we're going to have a little bit of like in the next group. So those 3 guys, you have anything for me?
No. Hideki's hit or miss for me. It's maybe a course where I'd think about him if he were a little higher. But also, I don't think these greens are quite as flat as last week. I think there's some more undulations and contouring. So probably have to stay away from Hideki. Finau in a big tournament. I'm not a big narrative guy. Good conversation about that this morning in the golf chat. But for sure, I'm not a momentum. I don't believe in momentum. But in team sports, I really, really don't believe in momentum, clutch, whatever you want to say it.
Yeah.
When it is an individual sport, tennis, golf, MMA, boxing, there is something to be said for nerves and whatnot. Or even, like a quarterback or a key player in a team sport. And Tony Finau at that number in a tournament like this with all these players, there's no chance. Hideki, I've already said, I'm worried that he won't be able to get hot with the putter at a course like this. And then, Patty's a little low for me as well. 40, I'd think about it. 45 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Patty at 40 is just more or less an auto bet, really. 36 is close, though. He didn't make any noise last week, did he? He's just not hitting the ball real well. His ball striking numbers are not superb. He lost the stroke. On approach. Man, he hit the ball really well at the Wyndham. Holy shit. Which you got 9th, so that makes sense. Man, those numbers are really close for me. Reed is. Decky, like you said, Decky and Tony, these greens are tough. They're not like we saw last week, which was something we talked about, right? Someone who's not good at putting, and DJ and Scheffler, those guys are not bad putters necessarily. They're very streaky, but you could just see it, man. There was not a lot of breaks, putts out there, and they were just making it rain. This week it should be different. From what I understand, these greens do have a more severe undulation, so you're going to need to go to some, a couple short game guys for sure, who are still obviously striking it well. Moving down to the next group of guys, I think we're looking at, these are going to be bets for me here. We have English at 40, Kisner at 40, Wolf at 45, Hovland at 45, Scott at 45, and the greatest golfer of all time at 40. Those 6 guys, I have 3 bets. What are you looking at there?
Yeah, English, Kisner, Wolf, and then a little further down Hatton, all made the short list.
You're not going with you're not going with the Hovland, the Norwegian who can't putt.
I like it.
We just talked about you need a putt. Those Wolf and Hovland cannot putt.
Yeah, I know. That's where I'm leaving him off. Wolf might get a little money if I can find him at 50 somewhere. Okay. Just because he can stroke it big off the tee, but Hovland too. But his putting is rough, and it's got to be a little nervy for him in a tournament like this. All these young guys, it's got to be tough like that. Scheffler, Wolf, Hovland, Morikawa. Yeah. I don't know if Morikawa anymore.
Oh, he's got stones now. He's nothing. Yeah. You know what? Here's something. Let me give you something on Hovland. He gained 4.9 strokes putting at the PGA and 5.2 strokes putting at Northern Trust. That's 10 strokes over 2 tournaments, which, I mean, believe me, that's a huge anomaly. So I don't know if we can buy much into that, because the rest of his career, he's been an absolutely fucking terrible putter. And I'm sorry for cussing, but that's what he's been. Didn't do any. He can't chip. These guys are like, I think they're like, well, if I never miss greens, I'll never have to chip, because none of these young guys, Morikawa can, but Hovland and Wolf cannot chip. They cannot get it close around the greens. But again, you're looking at Hovland, who has 2 good putting rounds. That doesn't make you lean into him a little bit?
And maybe that's another reason because his chipping, it's not something I weight very heavily around the
Mhm.
green, scrambling, sand saves, whatever you want to put it, those little subcategories. But the proximity is going to be longer with these longer
Yeah,
holes. And if he is missing the greens and he's forced to try to chip and put himself in a position to have an easier putt, I worry about him a little there as well. So
yeah,
if he's missing these greens, he's going to be in big trouble because that's maybe his two biggest weaknesses is chipping onto a green and then sinking some putts. If he
absolutely.
continues to putt like this and he's good all of a sudden, maybe it's just something he had to work. There's guys that can't putt, then they start working on it, and a different part of their game goes to hell.
Happens
And
all the
it's
time.
like, well, I'm going to go back to the way I was, and just I've won a couple
Yeah,
tournaments that way. So if
for sure.
if that doesn't happen and his putting just improves, then Jesus, watch out, he's going to win 3
Yeah,
tournaments a year.
absolutely. I mean,
So
and look at this. I
he's a
mean,
guy to keep an eye on, I guess.
yeah, I'm with you on that. And then we could segue that into Kevin Kisner, who is one of the best putters on tour. Simply stated, I mean the guy 8.1, 5.1, 5.7 in his last 4 starts has been striking the ball well as well. Not great off the tee. He's not a long guy, but he's a superb iron player. 4.9, 5.3, 3.6 on approach last 3. So his game is really dialed right now. Kind of a big. He's more. He doesn't have that like signature win. He won a match play event, has a win way back. It's been a while since we've seen this kind of form from him. But on a golf course, we're going to have to make some putts. And when you see what he's been doing striking wise, he is right there. Played great last week. And English is kind of the same thing. I mean, those guys to me, English is a better ball striker. English is better off the tee, whereas Kisner is a little bit better putter. But those guys are getting it done in multiple ways. So anytime you can gain strokes across the board in the 4 major categories, I'm interested. So are you going to? You said you have English. What do you think about Kisner?
At 40, yeah, probably. Like I don't do a ton of outright. This is going to be an outright week for me, just
I love
because
that.
I don't think I'm gonna have I don't think I'm gonna have a ton of matchups, just because there isn't a big menu. So I am
Okay.
going to add some small prices on some outrights. Yeah, Kisner and English made the short list just because
Okay.
full English truther. He's going to win one eventually, and yeah, Kisner's popping every which way but loose for me.
I love it. Okay. Let's
I'm
take a
not
little
sure.
step down here. Well, we got to talk about Tiger, who can't putt. This guy is turning into like the awful putter. I think it's because his back is broken and he can't like practice. I don't know what his deal is. I mean, notoriously one of the better players on tour when he was in his prime, which we're a long ways away from that, but still manages to make the cut based on he's going to gain strokes on approach. He's still a great ball striker. Any love for Tiger here? I mean, I'm sure this is, of course, he's won a golf tournament at some point in his life.
Yeah,
I don't
most
know that.
likely without even fact checking,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I think he's
I
probably got one.
mean, yeah, his putting. I pulled up last 12 rounds around the green and putting have been pretty suspect, like middle of the pack kind of numbers, which is rough
Okay.
for him.
Yeah.
40 is a big number, and
Big number.
I mean, it's funny. It's like the narrative you hear every week. He likes this course.
He
It's
does.
like, it's
Yeah.
like
He
you
likes
say
every
that about
fucking
every
course, guys.
single. Yeah, he loves every course. He loves golf. Yeah, they
Yeah.
say, "Oh man,
He's the best ever.
This is a course he's been successful here." Well, yeah, he's won everywhere. So yes, he's played well here. So 40-1, probably won't touch him. He's another one of those. You have a different name for it. I call putting it in my pocket. Well, is he?
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
in the.
We
What's
throw it
your
in the
thing? You say
bullpen. We
in the
put him in the
bullpen. Yeah,
bullpen.
he's going in the
Yeah,
pocket.
he's going in
If
the
I
pocket.
see
I like that one too.
things on a Thursday, right in the pocket. If you see
That's it.
something on a Thursday, and it's like he finishes middle of the pack, maybe okay, his odds are the same or maybe a little worse, and you see something from him,
Yeah.
maybe he had a couple of just bad luck balls where it just rolls off the edge of a green, or he gets a funny lie and it costs him a stroke here or there, just
Yeah.
a lip out. And his odds are similar, but you think, wow, he's playing well. It just hasn't shown up in the box. I almost said box
Yeah.
score on the scorecard yet. That he's a guy that might be an ad live
Nice. I
because
like that. Or,
once he gets hot, he plays hot.
maybe he had a good meal at a diner somewhere, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, Anything could happen. You
Spend the
never
night in
know.
the townhome.
Yeah. Where's Tiger? Okay. All right. So moving on. I have a couple more bets actually. This is a week where I found some value, so I'm excited about this week. Whereas last week I was lost. So we're looking at this next group of guys. Let me pull it up here. Boom. Hatton, Matty Fitzpatrick, who is dead to me. Paul Casey, no way. And then Horschel, Sungjae, who I was wrong on last week. Abraham Answer, and then I have a 80 or one guy that we'll hold off on. But any of those six, interest you at all?
No, I mean Hatton.
No.
We talked. Yeah,
Okay.
Hatton. I wish was a little heavier, but yeah, Horschel. I like Horschel a lot. I backed him in some matchups 2 weeks ago, and he almost freaking won. But he's not at that price. I want him at a bigger price. I don't have anything until we probably get up to over 100.
Ooh, okay. I have a bet on Hatton. He's just one of those guys where he was in the 30s at the PGA, right? So looking at basically the same field up top, but less in the bottom, and he's been hitting it pretty well. I shouldn't say he's been hitting it pretty well. He just did. He was hitting it like an absolute idiot prior to that. He's a 69th in a missed cut, 25th getting strokes in every category. That's what you like to see. You want to get on him before he does what he was doing when he won the Arnold Palmer, gaining 7 strokes on approach, or 9 putting and 6 putting, right after the suspension. So a guy that I like at that number at 50, world-class player, multiple wins on multiple continents, kind of guy that I'll back at 50, no problem. And then the rest of the guys, honestly, I hate them all. Like Sungjae can die. I shouldn't say that. That's really mean. But like this dude, I thought he was showing something, and then I backed him last week in a bunch of different ways, mostly DFS. He completely killed me. I had all Sungjae and all DJ. Like, what? So angry. So he's done. And then I a little bomb. I'll have some Russell Henley action. I'll have him top 20s, but I'm gonna bet him to win this golf tournament. Dude, that's 3 wins on tour in his long career. Showing a lot with the flat stick, which has been his biggest issue. Again, last week, relatively easy greens. So I'm not sure if we can take much from that, but super high. I mean, he's higher. He's as high in the model as I've ever seen him. So at this point, if I think that my numbers are anything, I have to be backing this guy. A 9th and an 8th last 2 times out, has gained in every single category his last 2 times out. I mean, he's hitting it well. Former winner. I have to have some Henley action. What do you think about that guy?
Yeah, he's up there. I have 3 guys that are in that 80 to 120 range that I like.
Okay.
And they're all guys who have had trouble with the putters. Henley of the 3 is the one who's probably improved the most over the last, I run some last 12 rounds, and he's a guy who's not losing strokes with his putter, which is good for him. Because normally he's a guy who, he loses 2/10 or better per round with his putter. So if he's not losing strokes, that's I'll take it. And again, the greens are a little tougher here, but I'm still willing to back a bad putter who does everything else right at a big enough number. And where's my guy? Jason Cockrack. 150 to 1.
I bet him so much last weekend.
Yeah, he's great with the irons. He's great with longer irons, proximity 200 plus. I think I can back a guy like that who's good off the tee, good hitting into the greens. Hopefully he just puts them close and the putting doesn't kill him too much. It's especially 150 to 1. Like you said with Henley, when I bet a guy that's 100 to 1 or better, I'm probably going to add some top 22 to try to get some money out of him. Cam Davis killed me last week. Yeah, no, you don't want a guy to get like 8th and you feel great. Oh man, I identified that guy to play well this week and I made no money off it. So when I bet a guy at a big number, I'm always betting some top 20 as well. And then Ryan Palmer.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I love that guy. He made me a lot of money last week.
He's another one that normally loses some strokes putting. His last 12 has been neutral. He's been like 0 on putting. He's another one that's a great approach guy, good off the tee. It's been better of late. Little sketchy around the green, but again, I don't weight that too heavily, especially with a good irons player who can keep it on the green. So he's a guy I'm going to back. I'm seeing him 120, 125. So those are a couple of my long shots, and I might take some Henley as well.
Okay. I like it. And of course, bookmaker. Can you just guess who Henley and Palmer are matched up against?
Well, probably each other.
They are.
I mean,
Come on. Oh, that's the worst when that happens.
that
Like
is
we're like,
that's
oh,
the
there are two
worst
guys
thing.
we're like, and then you hop into this market. English and Hatton are matched up against each other. I mean, they're really, because I'm, looking at these matchups for the first time, and I'm like, all these guys are against each other, and it's like all the dudes that I'm backing are against each other. So, which
Yeah,
it happens because
both guys have a really fun time.
yeah, sweet. Looking at the map, have you had a chance to look at any of these head-to-heads? I know we're rather early on a Monday morning here, so the process is not fully developed yet. But do you have anything? You have anything on the head-to-heads yet?
It's a touch early, but some of the guys I already talked about are going to pop.
Okay.
Cockrack over Connors. He's a dog. I think that should be,
Oh wow.
he should be a slight favorite.
Oh, you get plus
Morikawa.
money.
Yeah, Morikawa over Day. Just
Okay.
I love Day, but that's not a match. They should be in a matchup. Like he should be
What I
one
want
tier
to,
up, and I guess
yeah,
he's a minus
yeah.
120.
What I want to bring up. So last week I
Webb.
did well fading Rory, and they moved Rory down in class. So now rather than being against the Roms, the Brysons, the JTs, they have him the Webbs and the Xanders. He's a dog to Webb. Excuse me. He's a minus 118 to 102 for Webb, and then he's actually a dog to Xander, which is a little wild to me. Minus 108. It's still kind of basically a pick 'em. So, what do you? First of all, were you on that fade last week? And second, anything there in terms of like what do you think about Rory stepping down and being matched up with those guys?
Yeah, I was a puss about that. Too scared. Didn't want to fade
Okay.
Rory just in case. Like I believed in it. But again, with some of the names and the screwiness of a tournament like that, I left it alone. Didn't surprise me he played bad, and it wouldn't surprise me if he played decent this week. He's a guy, if you use some modeling that goes back 50 rounds, he's going to show up as somebody who's good because he was good. Yeah. And I still can't figure him out. I'd probably back him over Xander. But again, I'm still pretty Rory neutral. Yeah, I don't think I don't want to take that number there.
Yeah. And honestly, Xander would be the only guy, but he's a favorite. Like, I mean, if Xander got to maybe even money, like I would think about it, but Xander is a favorite to Rory. I mean, that's just a little wild to me. I'm not ready to quite move it that far, right? So, and the rest of those guys, the Roms, the Brysons, I considering what their skill set is, their floor is so high. I don't see a point in picking right now. Maybe Bryson. I'm considering getting after Bryson with a couple of these guys just because he hasn't shown the ability to hit the ball close in a few tournaments. So I'm a little worried about him in that regard. But I haven't quite gone there yet. Anything else you're seeing? Again, I know it's early. We don't have the full markets up, but we have to break down these part threes for the people though, right?
Oh yeah, and that's where I'm nervous. I'm looking at I'm looking at the Fantasy National breakdown, and they were so off on these. On these par fives, I'm a little nervous about the par threes. So
they have the par fives at 5. Yeah, you're right. They have them at less than 6, and everything I'm reading says those suckers are going to be at 6. So this is when they played in 03. So yeah,
we've done
golf is different. This entire course. Yeah, they redid it in 17, so we might not be able to have much in the par 3 department. Honestly, though. When I was looking at this, I was thinking we might have a chance here, but then I remember there's only 70 players.
Yeah, 2 of them look easy. There's some birdie opportunities on half your par 3s. I don't know about hole-in-ones, but you have a smaller field. It'll probably be priced accordingly as far as the being real juicy because you have half as many shots at it.
It's got to be like minus 170 at least, right?
I haven't even seen if it's up yet.
I haven't. It's not anyway. Well, not that I've seen, anyways. But I don't have anything. But I'm just spitballing. If you only have 70 freaking guys in the field, and one of the par threes is impossible, by the way. Like one of them is 230 yards. So I mean, 17 is really tough. And even with Fantasy National, the way that I've been reading the breakdowns, they flip these 9s. So you're actually starting where you're starting on 10. I don't know. Fantasy National is going to be tough to use any of this shit this week. Honest to God, truth. But generally speaking. With 70 guys, I need at least minus 170, maybe even 200, to be honest with you. You have half the field, man. Like, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into these threes. I'll tweet anything out if I find something. If number 4 truly is 164,
you got something.
It might be worth it because it's not like you get half as many attempts at it. You still get the same amount of attempts on Saturday and Sunday. You just get half as many on Friday and Thursday.
So you get like a third less then, I guess. I'm not very good at math, but
it's about a third less of the attempts that you'd normally get at these par threes. So I might, if it's a big plus number, if they over adjust this, I might be, you give me plus 150 on a hole in one, I might be there.
I was thinking it's got to be, 150. Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one. It's always a good one. Honest to God truth, I think it might be. Yeah, I think it might be like minus 200 to 170. I don't know. I have no idea. But again, if we can get something, it's always a fun bet. And then all of Twitter blows up, and you're excited, and then you're waiting. You're watching the coverage on Saturday, Sunday, then happen, and they turn to some random dude where the screen or the view's coming from the green, so this guy's. Why are we showing this dude? He's about to make a hole in one, and you get all excited, and then he like lips out. And you're like, oh shit. But it's just a fun bet to have all week. It's nothing crazy. It's not like we have any real edge here. But it's fun to talk about. Anything else? You looking at any predictions? Any other markets you might have an eye on? Again, I know it's early, but why don't we wrap it up and with one more? If you have anything else.
Like I said, I'm going to look deeper into some of these top 20s.
Okay.
I think I can find some. I'm going to dig into the pricing. I did some screenshotting from last week and the week before.
Oh, nice.
And I want to see what kind of adjustments they make based on a smaller field. I want to see if they're doing their math right, because I wonder if they do. It's easier to top 20 when there's fewer players. And I don't know if they've made the commensurate adjustments. Maybe everyone's a little different. So I'm going to hunt around and take a peek at those. I think that's something worth looking into.
And while you're on that, excuse me, while you're on that, take a look at like the sharper books moving head to head, moving outright numbers, and then the retail shops not doing so, and especially not moving the derivatives, because you can find some guys where the market likes them outright and they haven't touched their T10 5 through 20s. They just can't take big enough bets, so they probably just don't give a shit. But that's something that I've been looking at and kind of studying, and you can find some edges. There's no doubt about that.
For sure.
Cool. All right. Well, with that being said, go ahead.
Good luck this week. I think we're due to hit it outright.
It's been a while. It's been a few weeks, so I think this might be it. So, with that being said, that is your breakdown for the BMW Championship at Olympia Fields, the second leg of the FedEx Cup. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Betting Tribune, brought to you by Line Sniper.